Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Track Limits podcast powered by Formula Addict. I'm joined by Mikey and Feven. We're at Crater Club Studios in Toronto. Las Vegas Grand Prix is all said and done. So much to unpack, but before we get into it, let's run down the top 10 finishers. In P10, we got Piastri with the fastest lap also. P9, we have Alonso. P8, Russell. P7, Lewis Hamilton. P6, Carlos Sainz. We'll talk about that one. In P5, we have Lance Stroll. That's some going. Exactly. Yeah. And in P4, we have Ocon, another surprise finisher. And podium finishers, what a battle between these three. Checo in P3, Charles in P2, and no other than Max Verstappen, claiming his 53rd win, tying Sebastian Vettel, and hunting for the 54th in about a week.
Yeah. And 18th of the season, which is insane.
That's wild. That's wild.
How does that, I mean, we'll talk about that, but what do you guys think about the race? Kevin?
I feel like I ate my words. I did.
A lot of people did.
I did. And you know what? I'm not too proud to admit it, because last week when we were looking forward to the Vegas, I was like, I'm not excited. There were just too many long straights. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of overtaking. It just felt like it was gonna be more about the show around Vegas versus the actual racing. So I wasn't that excited. And in the end, it was a spectacle, but oh my God, the race was so entertaining. Yep. And I remember because Michael and I were like, oh, we're gonna go to bed. It's too late because we're in Easter.
It's 1 a.m. our time.
Yeah. It was at 1 a.m. or 12 a.m.?
1 a.m. 1 a.m. With the pre-show and the actual show started much earlier.
Yes. So we were about to go and I said, okay, let's watch the first turn. The first turn and then we'll go to bed. And then I didn't go to sleep. I watched the whole race.
And the thrill too.
It was so thrilling. So yeah, there's a lot of favorite moments, but that was so entertaining.
I think because we went into it assuming that it'd be a boring race, especially when you looked at the practice. Okay, we had a manhole cover that got a mind of its own. We had, didn't you hear the fans? The fans were kicked out of the zone. So we were all like, oh yeah, it's going to be terrible. But the racing was unbelievable. Loved it. Yeah. Genuinely loved it.
Possibly the best this season.
It's definitely top. It's up there.
Yeah.
Even outside of the race, everything this weekend has been thrown at Max.
Yeah.
He told the truth as what he thinks. There was so much, even on the race, tarmac issues.
Yeah.
First corner, penalties, contact with Russell, you name it, restarts.
Yeah.
And he's still, you know what he said to everybody? I send my regards.
Yeah, I send my regards. And then he said, Viva! Okay, the tune, the way he changed his tune so quickly, he's like, I can't wait to be back next year. And I honestly, I think every single driver enjoyed being on the, maybe outside of Lando because he was out early.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like everybody was, it's kind of like, maybe when you go karting, karting, and you're overtaking, you're racing, and it's like wheel to wheel. I feel like you don't get a lot of tracks where you have such an opportunity.
I mean, Lewis Hamilton said it the best. He said this was a better Baku. Baku disappointed us this year, and Las Vegas, with the same characteristics of the track layout, was able to provide us such a good race.
Would you say that Baku's better than Miami? I reckon.
I think so.
I would say if you wanted to can some races in the States, get rid of Miami. Miami doesn't stick out for me. I don't remember. Even we do the same on Miami, and I don't like the track.
I mean, this year it was actually one of the better races because that was the turning point for Red Bull compared to the two drivers. Checo was coming back from a win, and he was super close to Max, and Max starting from a qualifying issue from P9, I believe. Going up the grid, going back to back with Checo. That was a turning point. Luke, he never turned back after that moment. He won almost every other race since then.
Because before that, they were actually challenged by the Aston Martin as well, also, right? They were putting up quite a fight. They were very strong, and then they fell back, and Checo, had the season. Of his nightmares, I would say.
He secured P2. He had a brilliant race. Yeah, this is the old Checo that we saw.
You mean P3?
Or no, in constructors.
Oh, fine. I was like, wait.
P2 in constructors.
He kind of got lucky with that safety car.
He did.
Like again, it was a lot to play with, but like I remember, was it lap 1? He was like 18th. So
Yeah.
I mean,
all credit to him.
But he did drive through the pack to like P8 before the safety car. And I think what it was impressive was, like, as much as the sport is about racing, is also so much about the strategy. And it was not so much luck, because it is luck that the safety car did happen, but they took advantage. Who didn't take advantage and who I was so disappointed for was Oscar Piastri, who stayed out, and he could have had a free stop because he had stopped, but he was in the same compound. And so what happened was he was in P3 or P4 and had to pit and finish in 10. I mean, obviously he did get fastest lap as well, so he maximized as best as he could, but that was, in my opinion, that was a drop on the strategy side.
I mean, hey, you moved on to our next question, which was biggest disappointments. Mikey, what was
There
yours?
was the only question to Piastri. Why did he go in mediums? There was only like 5 laps or 4 laps left, and he went from a medium, not a stop.
They saw the drop off that was having.
4 laps. You kidding me?
And I mean, look at Yuki. Even before that safety, he was even up on the live right away.
He made some gaps in the first.
And he didn't want to change it.
The first few 4 or 5 laps, he was doing really well. He squeezed through the crowd and like gained 4 or 5 positions.
Oh, once the crash happened?
Yeah, in the first corner.
Yeah.
But even like Piastri, he was making some serious moves. After one safety car restart, there was a couple of turns after the very start. You've got the turn 1, turn 2. He was on the outside going on turn 2. That is wild carry on.
And I think Albon and Hamilton made similar moves where you were taking the dirtier side or the outside, overtaking on the outside, at the apex, especially. I'm like, oh no, don't contact them.
Don't spin out.
Henny, in the first half of the year, I was not sleeping too well. You remember that?
You were definitely not sleeping. You were sending messages at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Not 3 a.m., but close to 2 a.m. But then I found Manta Sleep.
Yep.
And honestly, Manta Sleep has been really helpful in helping me sleep, but helping me sleep in a very healthy way. They have an assortment of different masks here, everything from their 100% blackout mask to their cooling mask to help with cooling your eyes while you're sleeping. Silk.
Look at that.
No face wrinkles whatsoever when you wake up and also when you get older.
Of course.
And finally, Bluetooth embedded mask.
What? All
know.
the sound waves coming in the middle of the night? This is optimal.
It's pretty incredible technology.
Yeah. And they're also ProNap too.
What's ProNap?
They're so against this BS corporate lifestyle where you have to go. They're all about taking naps, improving your vitality throughout the whole day.
So check out Manta Sleep, guys, using our special link below. And also, if you want to use on checkout T-Limits, that's our code, T-Limits, you'll get an incredible discount.
But disappointment, nothing jumps out at me that I was disappointed with. It was all in all a good race. I wasn't really disappointed by anything, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, what else? I mean, the AlphaTauri.
I was just about to say the AlphaTauri, Danny Ricks, he's been talking about wanting to race here, and I think the car didn't really have much pace, and I don't think they maximized on strategy during the actual safety cars. So it was very lackluster, and I'll say it again. Where is Alfa Romeo?
Hey,
Bottas qualified so well.
And he got hit.
That's no.
Yeah,
Bottas got ruined. Lap 1, he's raced.
Yeah, he got hit, and so who changed? Think about it. Everybody, that made contact, changed their front wing or whatever, or maybe changed their tires in the first the first 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah,
right?
On the virtual safety.
Yeah, and so Checo came out 18th. And so what I'm saying is, in comparison to the others that did have contact, they were able to gain and use better strategy during the next virtual safety or the proper safety car. And so I'm a little disappointed for both Joe and Bottas.
That's true, actually. That's a good point. I mean, I have to see the data to see where their pace was in terms of compared to the bottom grid. But I gotta say, I mean, all the other players did change up and they were able to go up the grid, and I don't know what.
I guess one you would say is Williams had here, but Albon, he made a few last mistakes in the final few corners and he lost There was a DRS train of 4,
Yeah.
and he braked too late and he lost out. But like Logan Sargent, fair play to him. He was up there, 6th, qualified 6th.
Great qualifying.
Dropped off a little bit. Ocon got a beautiful move on him where he was like sweep a corner, took the inside,
Yeah.
unbelievable. But Logan held it together. I think he's going to get some good remarks from the team principal.
100%. This is a street track too. Let's not forget, for someone that's a rookie to perform this well, not hit a barrier. Albon hit a barrier.
Yeah.
He kept it clean and on the track. Come on. And I think this is a huge confidence boost.
I'd say he's definitely upped his ante from when all the rumours were coming up, like, will Logan stay in the game? And then James Bowles came out and said, no, we've given him certain goals to meet. So I'd be curious to see.
I hope he takes this momentum into like giving himself more like reassurance and confidence that he'll
can
figure
do
it out.
it.
He'll
Yeah.
get it. He'll get it. This is a rookie year.
Exactly. What surprised you the most though? Even off the
Stroll.
track, on the track?
Stroll.
Yeah.
I mean, it surprised me because I honestly wasn't even really, not that I wasn't paying attention, but at the end when I was looking at it, even when you're reading it now, like who finished in 10th, you're like, when you think about where he started, I think it was 19.
Yeah.
Or,
Was it that bad?
no, it was very
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was,
Damn, I
he
didn't
was
realise.
18th or 19th or 20th, what, like bottom 5.
Yeah.
I don't remember where. So when he finished what? P6?
P5. Yeah.
What?
P5.
That's
Well,
what-
obviously George also did have a penalty and
It dropped, yeah.
it dropped, but at the same time, like what a perform, like really.
I mean, both of them
impressive.
did. Ocon and him were back on the back
Yeah.
of the grid. I think Ocon
Yeah.
was P17. He was, I think, P18.
Yeah.
And they put on show. I mean, the first turn took out like 4 or 5,
Yeah.
and I think Stroll gained like 8 positions on that one corner alone. And then he was able to just keep the pace, get out of, like, stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
And good strategy.
Yeah.
And hey, he finished it.
It was Alonso that took everyone out in the first corner.
Pretty much. It was
Yeah.
such a bold
But
move.
Sainz spun as well. I couldn't.
Because he had no, I don't know if
He ran out of room.
he
No,
ran out of
actually
room, brake checked.
He
And-
hit Bottas, and Bottas
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
No, he hit Lewis.
Was it Lewis?
Yeah, he hit
Oh.
Lewis.
Lewis, no.
Yeah, Lewis. He hit Lewis.
Lewis's rear end got tapped.
Yeah.
On the inside.
So Lewis took another beat. Oscar also put.
Yeah.
Lewis took a beating.
He went through it. Let's just say he went through it this
I'm
weekend.
like, I swear it was another time where Lewis also got pushed by.
Yeah.
He got a flat tire there, but
Yes.
then Russell also turned in. Both Mercedes got their hands dirty this weekend.
Indeed.
I think a lot of the cars.
Yeah.
I mean, George Russell with Max. There was a lot of contact.
Yeah.
I was surprised that was it lap 3 that Norris's car, he was coming along the straight, he must have hit a bump, but it was okay, it's a sweeping left-hander, but he completely lost the car. That was pretty.
Very dangerous.
He was lucky he didn't wipe out Piastri as well, because when you look at the overview camera, Piastri's slowing down to turn in, and then Lando's going in reverse,
Lion.
like insane. But
Yeah.
yeah, it looked like something happened, and he completely lost all the aero.
He did, yeah. He did say he bottomed out on that one bump.
Yeah.
Stella also said that they bombed out on that one little bump, and
Yeah.
that he just lost control at that high speed. But it's so sad.
That was disappointing because if you look, thank God Lando's good and he had to go for a checkup. But if you look at the constructors now, Aston Martin are right on McLaren. So
It's actually nice.
it's so exciting because next weekend, okay, Red
We'll
Bull
talk about that later.
Yeah.
Save that.
That
Save that.
we have not talked about the most exhilarating piece of the race, or part of the race, at the end. When,
Yeah.
like when I almost had a heart attack and woke the entire neighborhood up because I was shouting so loud when Charlotte in the last lap, again a photo finish back to back. What an exciting way to end the race. But the way Charles Leclerc just kept at it and got Checo back in the last I don't know how many sectors were left, not even that many.
Yeah.
It was the last lap in the
last
last
sector, it was second last turn.
Oh yeah, it was. And then they
And even the last turn is not a turn; it's just a high-speed corner that if you don't have the momentum, so he had one opportunity.
and he maximized, and I've never been prouder. And remember last week I was reading off all of his the bad luck and bad opportunities or missed opportunities, and I think this one he really showed up, and that was the best he would have wanted.
100%.
He was dancing on the thin edge though. Like after the safety car restart, he was trying to warm up his sides. He nearly lost the car behind the safety car. He even panicked and like radioed his engineer. The engineer, his voice was changing.
Yeah.
And then even in the last lap or second last lap, he locked in going into that very tight hand corner, and he nearly clipped the wall as well.
Yeah.
So he was pushing like crazy.
Yeah, and talking about Ferrari here, let's talk about free practice one. The incident with Carlos,
Yes.
the whole fallout from it, both from the organizers, from the fans' perspective,
Teams.
Yeah.
battle, like a lot of politics happening
Yeah.
with one team deciding to block the veto the whole
Which team?
opportunity. There's nothing out there, but I think we all know it's going to be Mercedes
Yeah.
who's blocking it due to
Total
constructors.
has some strong
Yeah.
Standings. But yeah, let's talk about that. Is this the right move by the organizers? Should he, or even just FIA, to be like, I think we need to have a full sit down, veto what the teams are going to vote for, and say, hey, you're not going to get a penalty. This was an incident that happened completely out of not even your fault.
Yeah, I guess like when I would say that I agreed with, I think was it Max who said like the team shouldn't be involved in incidents where like it wasn't racing, or like it wasn't because it wasn't due to like it was out of control, and it was due to external factors, whether it be the racetrack or whatever. So I think in those scenarios, like I think it should be the governing bodies and the whoever organized the track that talk and discuss and like agree with come up with a solution.
Yeah.
The teams, this is where it gets dirty, and I think this is where the politics can like cause some bitterness and like a lot of unwanted tension. Like they should be, in my opinion, they should be out of it, because this had nothing to do with another team. Like if it was like if say Mercedes did something, let's say, and that led for Sainz to get the damage on the track, then maybe okay, fine, you battle it out together. But it had nothing to do with the other teams besides Sainz and the racetrack.
Yeah, good point, Mikey.
Yeah, definitely agree. Like something came undone in the track, and it completely wrecked the car. Now I can understand where other team principals would look at it being, well, he can't just replace all the components brand new and get away scot-free. So let's just say he replaced the floor, I don't know exactly replaced, but let's just say he replaced the battery and power unit. But if it was on a scale of 1 to 10, and that battery was on its last legs, and that power unit was on its last legs, then I understand. But obviously there's wear and tear, there's data for that. They should look at the data and be like, hey, this is at 50% of its lifespan. If there is the maximum penalty is 10 places, he's forced to take the replacement, but he didn't need to. So then half the penalty, because there is still, if the power unit was on its last legs anyway, then sure, you're going to.
That's an easy steal.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it in a better way.
No,
like,
that was.
But I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because to just throw him a 10 place penalty that was disappointing. Because Ferrari had a great weekend, he had a great
Look at
weekend.
the pace.
And what a just a slight like what he said in
At the end?
At the end,
What did he say?
he said something along the lines of, it was great to come out ahead of the people that
Voted against.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, even though you ended Lewis's potential race by hitting him, but that's another story. Well, Carlos did at the beginning of the race on the first turn.
Yeah.
Sometimes karma is my boyfriend.
Exactly. But what do we think about the track layout? I know we made fun of it. We thought it was horrible.
The upside down pig. Maybe every track should resemble an animal.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mikey, what did you think about this track layout now that you've seen the race?
Yeah, now that I've seen the race, like we drove it on the sim, and it was cool. Like I kind of enjoyed it. Yeah, it's not bad. But originally what took away from it was a big long straight. I was like, this is going to be boring.
Yeah.
All in all, I like it.
Yeah.
I think for qualifying, and if you're just like time trials, it's not as fun. I really like it. I think even on the sim, like it isn't that fun.
Yeah. And they even had a drop off after qualifying when Lewis Checo was kicked out of P2. From P2.
Yeah.
Like, there was a massive drop off in viewership because it was also late night, and they're like, well, we kind of know who's going to end up at the top.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, I think for qualifying, it may not be the most entertaining. But
race.
oh boy, the racing, that was so good.
Yeah, hey, I would actually love to hear from a different perspective. You know, we're the fans, we're the audience watching the track layout. But for up and coming drivers who one day want to drive on this track, especially like Will McIntyre, who's a great friend of ours, who just wrapped up his F4 championship, coming in second. Well, what did you think about this track layout and how this race went?
I just want to heads up on the F1 Las Vegas track, and you know, although it does look like an upside down pig, I'll be honest, but it was a really good track to race on, and you know, the looks wise, it was great. To race around, it must have been absolutely fantastic because, well, you had the super long straights, meaning that all the battles on track were super close, and as we saw, it was hard to pull away from everyone with the slipstream and DRS available. So, you know, it was really, really entertaining, and I think the long corners leading into tight corners made it definitely quite challenging, as we saw mistake from Leclerc. There's quite a challenging circuit as well to drive on, especially it is a street circuit as well. So, you know, it had all the technical abilities of a street circuit while having long straights of a normal circuit as well. I mean, the racing was absolutely brilliant. So, a good circuit.
Thank you so much, Will. I think we all agree this was one of the best races of the season, hands down, and we made fun of it, but hey, it proved us wrong. Now let's move on to the last race of the season, Abu Dhabi, just a few days away. There's so much riding on this race. You know, both constructors and drivers have been wrapped up, but from the other standings, from P2 to P3, from drivers all the way from like P4 all the way to like P6, P7, are all fighting for the last lap and to get those enough points. Feven, what do you think is going to happen?
Listen, Mercedes and Ferrari are 4 points away. So I really want, being such a hardcore Mercedes fan and a hardcore Ferrari fan, like it's a really hard one. I feel very split in the middle. But I do think, I'm really hoping Ferrari really step up their game. Because I would say if both Charles Leclerc and Sainz can maximize, they could not only take P2, but like they'll have really good results for them going in, and then the momentum that they need to go into the next season with better, I guess, performance. A performing car.
What about Mercedes?
Honestly, that W14, goodbye. We're done. I think
museum piece.
I think they've done as much as they could with that car, and so let's see. But I think Ferrari is probably better suited.
Mikey?
Yeah, I would agree. I think Ferrari have the momentum, and if you just look at two teams, Mercedes and Ferrari, I have more confidence in Ferrari. I know like Leclerc might have a bad look, Sainz has bad luck, but I even put a bet on Ferrari getting second.
Really?
I'm a Mercedes fan. I just think the momentum is there. The big one I think is we got to look at Aston Martin and McLaren. So McLaren did great upgrades, but they kind of fell off a little bit. Something's not working. Aston Martin had terrible upgrades, resorted back to, let's say, the Canadian GP upgrades, working great. Let's look at this weekend, Stroll and Alonso up there. So Piastri and Lando need to both be...
It's 11-point difference, by the way.
So there you go, look at that. You've got Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin, and McLaren, and that's not even talking about the individual drivers. So next weekend is going to be good.
Even outside of the teams, even the drivers, from Alonso, Carlos, Lando, and Charles, they're all within fighting range from each other.
Okay, Sainz and Alonso are tied. At 200 points. So that is insane.
That's what I'm saying.
And then Hamilton's on, I think Hamilton's...
Remove Hamilton.
Yeah, he's P3. Norris is 195, so he's 5 points away. And Charles Leclerc is a 188, so he's actually not far off. So if he finishes P2 again, he could actually...
That's what I'm saying.
And this is a great track for proper elbows out racing. Like, it's a big wide track. You can late break into corners. You can take different lines. Like... It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
That's how you should end off the season, with great racing. Everyone has a stake in it, especially the top 10 finishers have a big stake in this.
A little PTSD from
a few years ago. That's what who's it? Toto, who came out and said we should have a great race, or until I don't know how do you say it? He was like, we would have a good race if we have a good race director. He dropped that. Out of
mic drop right there.
He's still bitter.
Toto's spicy. This whole weekend was spicy.
Do we think that Perez, he's got his confidence back? Is he going to try and go like crazy this coming weekend? Because I think we said Max is going to have it again. But do you think Perez is still a little bit questioning his contract?
No, I don't think so. And I think I forgot who from the Red Bull senior team said it, but the next year's car is an evolution of this car. So they're not completely changing it. They know it works, but they are going to try to suit both drivers. We know that this year was, at the start of the season, it was suited to both drivers, and once the upgrades started coming in, it started to suit one driver instead of the other.
I mean, they didn't really need the other driver to win the championship.
If next year you're going to need
that.
Yeah,
everyone's going to catch up.
Yeah.
Everyone's. I mean, you're seeing how tight it is already.
Exactly.
It's getting better.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I mean, I already forgot about Red Bull for next week. Whether they finish P1 or P20 really doesn't matter. I'm more concerned about the other drivers on this.
It's not even the mid-pack, it's like the P2, P3.
Exactly.
It's like the front.
So who do you think is going to get Mercedes and Ferrari first question, and then McLaren and Aston Martin second question?
I think McLaren will wrap it up. I don't know if... I mean, I'm still riding on Stroll having 3 back-to-back good races. That's a high ask.
You're a confident man.
And I don't think he's going to do that. And if he doesn't, then of course, even if both Oscar and Piastri just get into even mid-high point finishing, I think they have it wrapped up.
Yeah.
And then for Mercedes, I'm not rooting. I think Mercedes got it because of the high deg on this track. And again, Ferrari, we don't know how they're going to perform.
They've changed. They've been improving on their high deck.
No, because this track, you can't use Las Vegas. It's such a cool track.
Yeah.
It was cool, but last week, but Brazil.
Oh no, Carlos had high deg in Brazil. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So who's Russell going to crash into next?
That should be a tracker. Remove the Amazon, whatever, 1 centimeter from the wall, and just put the George Russell. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this episode, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of the Track on this podcast. We have one more episode, race reflection episode, but a lot more guest episodes coming your way. So stay tuned for that.
And like a season recap too, I think.
Yeah,
we'll have to do it.
We have to like look at our initial videos and laugh at each other.
Oh god, I don't even want to think about that. But we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace out.
Bye.